Hello everyone. Welcome back to the third lecture on multivibrators. It's an introduction, and in today's class we are going to understand another important behavior of a capacitor. Now we have done till now important concepts like how to design transistor as a switch, and how to select the minimum base current required, and how to calculate the time constant of a capacitor, and how to find the voltage across a capacitor given the initial and final voltages, that is Vi and Vf, and of course the time constant from the resistor and capacitor. So these are covered in the first two videos, and in today's lecture we will cover the next important concept related to the capacitor. Now we know that a capacitor has a relationship between current and the voltage across the capacitor as follows. You have studied in your network analysis. What is that relationship? The current, the time varying current flowing through the capacitor can be obtained by performing this operation of the value of the capacitance C multiplied by rate of change of voltage across the capacitor with time. So IT is equal to C dVt by dt. Now this relationship we apply in network analysis, and if we try to use this particular equation, we will be able to understand why the voltage across a capacitor does not change instantaneously. So that is the important point we will understand. Now look at this particular equation. What is a dVt by dt? It is, numerator is change in voltage, denominator is change in time. So we can observe here, if I have a particular change in voltage for a particular change in time, the ratio multiplied by the capacitance will give me the current flowing through that capacitor at that particular time. Now if I want the voltage, the change to happen in zero time, which means instantaneously. Supposing I want the voltage across the capacitor to change from one value to another value in zero time, then what will be the value of the current? You can see here, numerator is a non-zero value, denominator is a 0. So the current has to be infinity. So which means if I want the voltage across the capacitor to change instantaneously, I must ensure that the current flowing through the capacitor is infinity. Practically, is it possible? It is impossible. So because practically we cannot supply infinite current to a capacitor, there is no way in which the voltage across the capacitor can suddenly change. That means in zero time it cannot change. So the same observation we will formulate in a general principle, that the voltage across the capacitor cannot change instantaneously. And in another way also we can put it, capacitor opposes sudden change in voltage. So these two things we will be using when analyzing the multivibrator circuits. So it's very important for us to thoroughly understand the practical application of this particular behavior. For you to understand this, we will take some simple examples and we will directly go to the application. Now let us assume that we have a capacitor here, some value C. On the left hand side it is having a voltage V1, on the right hand side it is having a voltage V2. Okay, I have taken them here. Now this V1 and V2, let us assume that on the left hand side the voltage is 10 volts and on the right hand side it is 3 volts. That means from this point to reference point, there will always be some reference. So between this V1 node and ground, it is 10 volts, and V2 and ground, it is 3 volts. Okay. Now what we will do is, we will assume that the voltage here V1, which is let us say 10 volts, has suddenly fallen to 0. Okay, this end, not across the capacitor. Across the capacitor it cannot suddenly change. So at V1 the voltage has become from 10 to 0. That can happen because there is no capacitor here. If V1 becomes 0 from 10 suddenly, what will be the voltage at V2, provided earlier the voltage at V2 was 3 volts. Let me repeat that question again. At the input side, this is 10 volts, here it is 3 volts. If this 10 volts has suddenly become 0, what will happen to the voltage here? Earlier it was 3 volts. What will be the new voltage now? That is the question. Okay. Now the answer to this question is from the fundamental rule that the voltage across the capacitor cannot change instantaneously. That means whatever value was there across the capacitor before this 10 volts became 0, the same value must be there even after the 10 volts has become 0. Please try to repeat again. Please try to listen carefully. Because the voltage across the capacitor cannot change instantaneously, whatever voltage was there across the capacitor before the input was 10 volts, the same voltage must be there across the capacitor even after 10 volts has become 0 volts. That means the difference must remain same before the voltage became 0 and after the voltage became 0. Okay. Now you will be able to give me the answer. Now V1 was 10 earlier, V2 was 3 earlier. So what was the difference? The difference was 10 minus 3, which is equal to 7. The difference, the voltage across the capacitor was 7 volts. Now this 10 has become 0 suddenly. Okay. Now if this has become 0, we have to find out what is the new value at the output such that 0 minus V is same as 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 earlier difference. 0 minus V after the change has occurred. So what is 0 minus V? That has to be same as 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 is 7. So 0 minus V has to be equal to 7. So what should be the new value V? V has to be minus 7. Okay. That is the key point here. So when 10 has become 0 and difference happens to be 7, the new value has to be equal to minus 7. Okay. Now why is it happening like that? Because the capacitor does not allow instantaneous change in voltage. Now please remember this particular point thoroughly, and I'll give you some questions based on this one so that you will very well remember. Now I'll ask you some more. Let us take one small exercise based on this one. Okay. Now whatever may be the value, you must be able to calculate the new value by applying the same rule. We can take some other value here. Okay. Now let us say V1, originally the value of V1 originally happens to be, let me take some value here. So V1 happens to be, let us say 8. Okay. And V2 happens to be 2. Then what is the difference? 8 minus 2 is 6 volts. Now 8 has suddenly fallen to 3. 8 has suddenly fallen to 3. So what should be the new value of V? So V has to be such that 3 minus V has to be always equal to 6. What is 3 minus V equal to 6 means? V has to be equal to 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. The answer is 3 in this case. So 3 minus 3 minus V is equal to 6. So minus V is equal to 3. V is equal to minus 3. Understood? So this is how we will be able to calculate the values related to. So 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus V must be equal to 6. So this has to be equal to minus V is equal to 6 minus 3. So 3 minus 3. Okay, got it? So that is how we will be calculating the values of the voltages on the input side and the output side. So keep a note of this one, and we will try to do some more exercises later. So from 8 to 3, what is the fall here? The fall here is 5. So here also the fall has to be 5. So this is 2 and another minus 3 fall. So that will become total fall is 5, such that the difference is equal to 6. So please remember this particular point. Now once you remember this, we can practice with some more examples. Now what we will do is, we will go to the actual circuit. We are actually building the multivibrator circuit. We will go to the figure 5, which I told you that we will be using in today's class. Last week, second class, we have discussed this particular circuit. Now what is this one? This circuit consists of a capacitor, a resistor, LED, and connected to the supply. So from the supply voltage V, we are making sure that this LED is getting enough current so that it can become on, it can glow, and this node will be connected to some other circuit. So whenever this point is connected to ground, LED will be glowing. Whenever this point is left open, this LED will be off. That is how it will be working. Now we have connected a capacitor here. We will see the function of this capacitor later, but let us assume there is a capacitor called C2. This node is actually connected to a transistor switch, if you remember. Okay, that transistor switch we replaced with a diode which represents the base emitter junction. So to make the circuit very simple. Okay, now look at this particular combination here. Okay, in this particular combination, let us try to find out what will be the voltages at the left side of the capacitor and on the right side of the capacitor when I connect a switch between this node and ground. Okay, try to look at this one. So when I leave the circuit as it is like this, what will happen? Supposing the voltage here is 10 volts. Because this is 10 volts and this is ground, current will flow like this. Approximately this current flowing through LED RC2, through the capacitor, through the diode, ground. So this capacitor will charge. We have seen R, remember only these two, R and C. Ignore the drops across the diodes. So only R and C are there connected to V. What will be the voltage across the capacitor? Voltage across the capacitor has to be, after some time, it has to reach 10 volts. So let us assume in a steady state condition, the voltage across the capacitor will be equal to this voltage, which is equal to 10 volts. Now in this condition, in this 10 volt condition, the voltage on the other side, because it is connected to diode, it has to be 0.7 volts. It can't be anything else. So on one side you are having 0.7 volts, on the other side you are having 10 volts. In this particular situation, we will connect a switch and see what will happen when the switch is closed. So let us come to the next figure 6. Now in this figure, everything else is same. VC2 is 10 volts. This side we are having 0.7 volts, and here we are connecting a mechanical switch. We are connecting a mechanical switch. Now if this mechanical switch is open, What is the voltage here? The voltage here happens to be 10 volts. Okay, approximately. It's not exactly 10 volts. Don't worry about that. Approximately equal to 10 volts. Now this is 10 volts, and the voltage on the other side of the capacitor happens to be 0.7 volts. This side it is 0.7 volts. So now when we are connecting this switch here, don't worry why we are connecting the switch. First remember what is happening across the capacitor. Try to understand the phenomenon. Then you will easily understand why we brought the switch there. Now when this switch is open, what is the voltage here? 10 volts. What is the voltage on the other side? 0.7 volts. Okay. Now suddenly I'll close the switch. I will close the switch, and what should happen? The voltage here must immediately come to 0. This VC2 10 volts will automatically become 0. That means there is a sudden drop of voltage at VC2 from 10 to 0. What is the drop? Total 10 volts. Okay. Now you remember our earlier analysis, what we have done here. Here what we have done, please try to remember. This is going from 10 to 0 volts. What is the voltage at V2? It is 0.7 volts. So this is falling from 10 to 0. What will happen to the other side? That now you should be able to answer. At the other side, the voltage has to be falling in such a way that the difference is same. Okay, the difference is same. What is the difference? 10 minus 0.7. So 10 minus 0.7 is 9.3. So if 10 is becoming 0, from 0.7 it should become minus 9.3. Minus 9.3. That means the voltage at the anode of the diode will become negative. Okay, it will be, that means it will go below 0. It will go below 0 up to almost equal to supply voltage but negative. This is a very important observation which you must remember, and when I discuss this again in the next instruction, you should be able to recollect this. Okay, so please remember this and also attempt the quiz, so you will never forget. So this is minus 9.3. So today's lesson is only this, that if there is a capacitor, on one side if there is some voltage and the other side there is some other voltage, when this is suddenly becoming 0 because of a switch, some external action, it is becoming 0. At the other end, the voltage must fall exactly by this difference. Whatever difference was there earlier, that difference must be maintained even after the switch is closed. Before the switch is closed, the difference was 9.3. After the switch is closed also, the difference must be 9.3, because this is 0, this is minus 9.3. So 0 minus 9.3 is equal to 9.3. Understood? So this is the most important lesson today. Now what we will do is, diode was kept only for understanding the putting the focus on the capacitor. If you put transistor and other things, focus will shift from capacitor. Our focus was on capacitor. Now we understood what happens at the capacitor. Now we will come back to the original circuit. It is not a diode, no, we simply put a transistor here. So in F7 you can see very clearly, we will remove the diode and put the original transistor. In F7 what are we doing? Originally we had Q1, here in the collector we had RC1, LED1 connected to voltage, and in the base also VB1 we connected RB1 to supply. All that we will bring in the next diagram. Okay, now once we bring to the next diagram, our circuit will contain a transistor, collector resistor, collector LED connected to supply. Then in the base you will have the resistance here RB1. Then you have a capacitor. This capacitor is connected to RC2, LED2 and supply. Here you are having a switch, mechanical switch. Okay, now once you understood up to this point, we will be able to discuss more about what happens in this circuit and move forward to 8th figure and develop the concept of a multi vibrator. in the next lesson, I will show you how the switches are going to control the transistor and how the transistor is going to control the capacitor. All these things we will now slowly move to the multivibrator behavior. Okay, so please answer the quiz and then be ready for the next lesson. Thank you.